Hey there, everybody. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel. If this is your first time, I'm Angela, and I am so excited to teach you a Bible study today. We are in the book of Acts, chapter number 5, beginning with verse number 1 today. And believe it or not, this is lesson number 10. You guys, I cannot believe it. This is lesson number 10. Well, you can go back and look at my very first lesson that I ever taught on this channel. It was lesson number 1 in the book of Acts. And down in the description below, you can find a link for that Bible study. And oh my goodness, I cannot believe that we are 10 lessons into this. I'm super excited to share with you today. Also, I have to remind you to please stick around until the end because I'm going to share a weird random Bible fact, and it's always so interesting, the weird random facts that we can find in the Bible. Please, if you could do me a great big favor and go down below and click the like button. Thank you so much. You're joining me in here at my kitchen table. I have a sweater on. It's cold outside. It's fall time. I can't believe it. But thank you for joining me again. I'm sitting here with my cup of coffee and just really excited and ready to get this Bible study going. Without further ado, let's dig into the Word. So here we are, Acts lesson number 10, chapter number 5. I can't believe how much progress we've made. Let's go ahead and go to the Bible and start reading. Acts 5 verse 1, but a certain man named Ananias with Sapphira his wife sold a possession and kept back part of the price, his wife also being privy to it. In other words, his wife was in on it, she supported it, and brought a certain part of it and laid it at the apostles' feet. But Peter said, Ananias, why hath Satan filled thy heart to lie to the Holy Ghost and to keep back part of the price of the land? Oh my. What is going on here? So they bring an offering, and Peter's response is, why did Satan fill your heart to lie to the Holy Ghost? Something doesn't seem quite right here. So we're going to need to read a little further and see if we can figure out what in the world is going on. Verse number 4, while it remained, was it not your own? And after it was sold, was it not within thine own power? Why hast thou conceived this thing in thine heart? Thou hast not lied unto men, but unto God. And verse 5, and Ananias, hearing these words, fell down and gave up the ghost. And great fear came on all them that heard these things. So he brings an offering, and Peter's response is, why did the devil fill your heart to lie to the Holy Ghost? And Ananias drops over dead. And so it said that great fear filled the hearts of those in the church because they are saying, what in the world is going on here? So let's continue reading on for a minute. Verse number 6. And the young men arose, wound him up, and carried him out, and buried him. And it was about the space of 3 hours after, when his wife, not knowing what was done, came in. And Peter answered unto her, tell me whether you sold the land for so much. And she said, yea, for so much. Then Peter said unto her, how is it that ye have agreed together to tempt the Spirit of the Lord? Behold, the feet of them which have buried thy husband are at the door, and shall carry thee out. Then fell she down straightway at his feet, and yielded up the ghost. And the young men came in and found her dead, and carrying her forth, buried her by her husband. And again, verse 11, great fear came upon all the church, and upon as many as heard these things. What in the world is going on here? What possibly has taken place that has caused this great tragedy to take place? I mean, they bring an offering, and it's obviously rejected by God to the point that they die. It's important to understand what really happened here. God was not upset with them for bringing an offering. I don't think he was upset with them for keeping part of the offering, but he was bothered with their hypocrisy because they were pretending to be something that they were not. And, here they are pretending to be just like Barnabas, who we read about and at the end of Acts chapter 4. He comes in and he brings this offering and he sells this land and gives all of the money, every bit of it, and lays it at the apostles' feet. Here come Ananias and Sapphira, and they want to appear to do the same thing. So they sell their land, keeping a portion of it back for themselves, and then taking it and laying it at the apostles' feet, acting as though they had given everything and laid it at the apostles' feet, just like Barnabas had done. And so, they were pretending to be something they were not. And I believe that God was really making a statement here to say that, this is not an acceptable way to act. And the very fact that his wife comes 3 hours after his death, his wife comes, Peter asks her, did you really sell the land and bring all of the money to us? And she confirms that that's what they did. And then he says, so basically you're going to lie just like your husband did. And look out, because the ones that carried your dead husband out are on their way to carry you. And then she drops over dead. So we had read verse number 11 earlier, where it says that great fear came upon all the church and upon as many as heard these things. That would definitely be a fearful thing, that's for sure. So verse number 12, and by the hands of the apostles were many signs and wonders wrought among the people, and they were all with one accord in Solomon's porch. And so they were all with one accord. Again, we're seeing this throughout the book of Acts already, chapter 5. We've seen this so many times that they were with one accord. They were all together. They had one heart. They had the same goal. And it was very powerful. So there's a quote that I want to share with you. It says, one can be a hypocrite before man, but not before God. Everything is uncovered and laid bare before him, nothing hidden. He knows our every thought and intention. And so while it might be easy for us to hide things from people and pretend to be something we're not in front of them, we certainly cannot fool God. Something that I said when I was teaching a couple Wednesdays ago, your Christian example needs holiness to be authentic. And so really, without some grasp on holiness, without a pure desire in our heart to please God and to walk after the ways of God, our Christian example is going to be tainted without God's help, without God's strength. And so if we want to be authentic, we need holiness. And I just had to share this quote that I found by William Shakespeare. It says, God has given you one face, yet you make yourself another. So we definitely want to make sure that we're not being two-faced, because really that's what hypocrisy is. Hypocrisy is when we pretend to be something that we really are not. But we've got to remember that God sees our heart. He's really the one that matters, and He's really the only one that sees our heart. Hey you guys, I had to just pop in and add one more thing to this video. I'm sitting out here in the car making some edits actually for this video, getting it ready for upload. And my husband ran in the store, and I thought, I really want to add something just to kind of tie everything all together, in regard to hypocrisy versus being an authentic Christian. Something that I really want you to realize and think about is that we are all human, and at some point in our lives already, we have played the part of a hypocrite, and real good chance that we're going to play the part of a hypocrite again at some point in our future. You guys, because lest we sit here and point dirty little fingers at the hypocrite not realizing that I myself am guilty. You guys, that's dangerous. And, while we see in the story of Ananias and Sapphira, they dropped over dead immediately because God was trying to prove a point that he does not tolerate hypocrisy. But I want you to realize that, there are consequences for your hypocrisy. There's consequences for my hypocrisy. And if we do not judge ourselves, God will judge us. Thank you for joining me for Bible study today. Never forget that God has a plan for you. He's not finished with you yet, and he loves you so much. Be blessed. And now it's time for a weird random Bible fact. Did you know that King Saul was actually being tormented by an evil spirit that was sent upon him by the Lord? And his servants recommended that he send for someone who could play the harp. So his servants went out, they found David, and he came, he played the harp, and the evil spirit from the Lord departed from him, and he felt better. What a crazy story. You can read about it in 1 Samuel 16, verses 16 through 23.